Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to backwash the filter. Just rotate this. You're going to press this down and rotate it until it goes from filter to, you'll see it right here, backwash. So got to turn off the pump. Once it's done, down, rotate only to the right. If you miss it, you're going to have to keep rotating all the way around again. Oh, shift right back in, turn the pump on. And just keep an eye on here. Now it's getting really cloudy and dirty. And just wait until all that gets kind of clear, and then all the major gunk will go out. Now for cleaning, I'm going to leave this in the backwash position the whole time. Out too. Next thing, I always remember two things. One, the thread count, because when you put this back in, you don't want to over tighten it or under tighten it. This has no leaks, so it's tightened the correct amount. So I'm going to take this bolt out. Got a 19. Correct size, but when we retighten this, remember that thread count. So I counted 4 threads. The other thing is, I'm going to remember exactly where the top was placed, because I don't want to slightly turn it this way or that way. If I could remember, and I take pictures of this beforehand, so if I could remember that this was pointing in a certain direction, when I put this back on, I want this to sit exactly where it came off, because it's been seated here for quite a while. So put this away somewhere you ain't gonna forget. Up here, here. Sometimes it's stuck. You might need just like a flathead to kind of loosen this up. There. Very heavy, so be careful when you're dropping if you got piping nearby. Put this to the side. Also, that black clamp I just took off, when you put it back on, it's already seated in these areas. I put that right back onto the same exact spot. I'm going to turn the pump on really quick and turn it off, because the pressure will pop this off. So now we're just going to hose it off. I am not taking this out. Also, there's a, I'm going to remove this right here. this cap was what's holding the tank full. Now it needs to be drained completely so you can actually wash. And as you're hosing, you know, the D grids off, they're coming out. So sometimes it's in a difficult area. I just grab my screwdriver there, and that's how you're going to tighten it also. You're going to have to really get the front and the back of each little section. Front, back, and then down there in the middle is where all the gunk really consolidates. You can see right up here. So as you go around, remember, hose this side, hose that side. Alright, didn't take that long, but grids are much cleaner, and you gotta get in there, follow this pipe all the way down, and really hose that area off well. You see how much crap came out of there. It's ridiculous. Now, two other things. This O-ring needs to be completely washed and then ragged, all the little grit, because when this goes to sit down back on here, you want a clean connection. Okay, this also hosed and then ragged down. As you can see, as we'll talk about it, there's a metal or metallic piece inside of this rubber. This is a very heavy duty O-ring. And the inside of the lid as well. In here, washed, hosed really well, and then with a rag, get every single granular out. Okay, so I hosed out everything around the equipment area. Made it look nice and neat. I cleaned all that up. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to rotate this from backwash back to the filter. Remember, press down, rotate to the right. Okay, and now I'm going to start putting things back together. So, first things first, close the plug. Always adding Teflon tape, always. It's a little sloppy, but it's better than nothing. Okay. And anytime there is a little O-ring here, so anytime you have an O-ring, lube it up. You can start tightening it with your hand, and then you can finish tightening it with a little screwdriver outfit. And it's going to be basically on the opposite side of this is where you're going to have the drain plug. You can still see a little water coming out. Thing I'm going to do is fill the tank up with water. Two reasons: one, I want to see if that drain plug is leaking or if it's holding good, and two, it's going to be easier to prime. move it everywhere. This is a messy job, so yeah, sometimes this metal thing just keeps coming out. Just fit it back in. There's a slot for it in the rubber. Nice, nice and tight. Cover that in. And yes, that also inside here with the rag, get all these granulars out. All these little grains. I'm going to hose this off and do the same thing. Now remember, these little hinges, you kind of want to line them up to where they were before. Same thing here. You'll kind of see where this will line up to where it used to be. Okay. Don't forget, I counted 4, so that's what we're going to go with. Alright, see, same thing as I did before. I had 4 threads, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's about as tight as I want it. So that's as far as cleaning. Next thing we're going to do is turn the pump on and actually put the DE and recharge it. Got a little bit of a boo-boo. I didn't hit record for the charging up part, so when everything's ready to go, run your pump, turn it on for maybe 20-30 seconds. You don't want to run a long time without the DE coating these grids, because all this stuff is very abrasive and that's how you start getting holes in the grids. So 20-30 seconds, as soon as water starts coming out of the air relief valve, run over there through the skimmer. And immediately start putting your DE cups through the skimmer. Again, I messed up. I wasn't able to hit record, but I'll put a diagram on how much DE you're supposed to put. It's according to the size of your filter. But this is a 1 DE cup. You fill it up to the rim, put it in here, it'll go through the pool system, and it'll start coating the grids. And that's the last step. So if you do have a hole or a tear in your grids, then the DE will start actually coming back through the pool to your return jets. So if you ever notice when you're either backwashing, when you're recharging this, whether you do a full clean or a backwash, if there's any DE ever coming back through the returns, you got a hole in one of your grids, and it's time to replace them. Okay. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go over a couple of key takeaways. One, this is a very, very messy job. Don't wear church clothing or anything like that. I'm soaked from chest to my toes, so understand that you're going to get wet. Anytime there's 2 points of contact, so this to that, that to this, in between, you gotta really pay extra attention to hose it off and then get a rag and clear it. I've done a mistake once where the O-ring, I didn't really take a rag to really get everything off. And it was leaking, the DE went back into it was a disaster. And instead of just taking like an hour and a half, it was like a half a day event to get everything back together the way it should be. So take the extra couple minutes, the extra swipes, clean off everything. How often do you need to clean this, like a complete cleanup? Hayward says every 6 months. I do it once a year and I have absolutely no problem. The rule of thumb is whatever your starting pressure is, and I'll take you there in a second. Whatever the starting pressure is for your pressure gauge, whenever it's 8 to 12 psi above the starting pressure, that's when the filter has accumulated so much gunk and debris that it's time to clean it. Maybe in 12 months this goes up to maybe 4 psi, so going off of that rule of thumb, I've never had to clean it more than once a year. Again, Hayward says every 6 months. I do it once a year. I would definitely recommend once a year. But yeah, let's see what the starting PSI is. So I don't know if it's gonna fit here with the camera. So I'm at about 10. Okay, and I highly doubt that. Just from my experience, I've cleaned this for the last 4 or 5 years. I would highly doubt that in 12 months it's gonna jump up 10. Just from my experience with this pool, they don't use it very often. They don't have, there's no children in the house, no pets that go in. Those are all variables that will get your pool a lot dirtier. But for an average house, just a couple, once a year. That's it, man. Any other questions, just leave comments. I'll get back to you as fast as possible. I want to answer as many questions as intelligently as I can, so always feel free to leave them and I will get back to you. Thank you.